Have you ever wondered why pretty much every person you have ever been with matches you on some aspects but never on all aspects? For example, you may have the same hobbies, but you have different core values, different views about life, about what you want. And the reason it's because of the soul connection that you have with that person. In truth, there are only three kinds of relationships that you may ever encounter in your life: a karmic, a soulmate, and a twin flame. And I've done a video to deep dive the karmic relationship. I will link it down in the description. But in this video, I'm going in depth in the spiritual truth of all of these three kinds of relationships and the purpose that they have in your life. That's why they're different. So let's start immediately with the spiritual truth, and I will take pen and paper for this because it's so simple, and you will see how simple it is. And it's crazy that there is so much confusion about the topic. It's almost ridiculous. It's so easy, really, and I will make it so easy for you that there cannot be any doubts, and you will understand very clearly why 99% of relationships have these problems. So super simple, right? How is a soul created? Let's deep dive into the relationships between the souls, right? So these three kinds of souls. It's so easy. So we have, first of all, God, the one, okay? God. And what does God? He creates souls. So he has created all the other souls that exist out of him, her, because actually God is a feminine and a masculine energy in one, like the masculine and the feminine. So every soul that exists has been created by God. It is kind of an aspect of God. And so what happens is simply that you have the soul created by God. And one soul is created very simply. This is one soul. And this soul, the soul which is whole, is created with a set of gifts and core values, which are basically, the gifts are all your talents, everything that you are, all the things that you're good at, all the things that are natural for you, all the things that make you who you are. And the core values are those things that are crucial for you, that are very important. For example, we have honesty, loyalty, we have love. A core value is something that for you it's so important that it's a non-negotiable value. Family, kids, respect, etc. For me, I could add efficiency, for example. It's one of mine. So in the core values, you have all the things that are non-negotiable for you, and the gifts are all of your talents. Let's put it very simple. Okay, this is one soul. One soul, which is whole, and it's at a specific set of gifts and core values, is then defined by two aspects: the feminine and the masculine. Okay. What happens is that, you see, the soul at the core level, at the whole level, has been equipped with a series of core value and gifts. The feminine and the masculine compose that soul. They are identical. The gifts and the core values are encoded within a soul blueprint. The soul blueprint is the DNA of the soul. It is exactly like the physical DNA that we have as humans. And these two parts are twin flames. So they are the two sides of the same soul. They share the same gifts, the same core value, the same blueprint that is split into its own feminine and masculine side. And these are twin flames. Okay, and this is a soul, and we already understand what twin flames are. Now, when the souls are created, they are created in packs. Like, they're just one. They created many souls. And so we have other souls, right? So let's zoom out a bit, like in group. Okay, and these are whole souls. So each one of these souls has the feminine and the masculine. Because remember, the soul itself, it's whole, cannot be divided, because God, it's whole. And so these souls are all created in the same way. So it's a whole soul with feminine and masculine aspects. And then you have all these other souls that are like close and happy and whatever. And all of these souls, they have been created together, and they have similar gifts and similar core values, but every soul, it's unique. There can never be another soul like the one that it is. As much as every DNA on earth is different, there will never be a person like you ever, anywhere. In the same way, souls are all different. And so the souls that are created in groups together, these are soulmates, because they share a friendship bond, a deep friendship bond, because they were created together. And they're all done in the same way, and they all have different gifts and different core values. They're very specific to each soul. But then you have, look, different groups of soulmates. Soulmates 2, this is 1, soulmates 3, and like they're all different, right? So you have and these are like all soulmates between each other, and each soul itself is a couple of twin flames within themselves, okay? And so what happens? So if you're here, if you're this one, these are your soulmates, and they're infinite. They're infinite because they're not really a number. Like, they are all created together with you in the same bucket of soul, pretty much, like a bit similar, each one with their own characteristics, but they're all friends. And then these other groups, the more you go, like all these groups of other soulmates have their own kind of specific characteristics. And so within their own group, they will be all similar to themselves because they're soulmates. But the farther you go, so soulmate group 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., the farther you go, the more different you will be at the core level for your gifts and your core values. For example, from soulmates, if you're soul from this soul group 1, the others, they are karmic. They are far away from you. They are less similar to you. That's all it is. So a twin flame is you, like your other half of your own soul, like that shares basically your same DNA blueprint. It's basically you. It's just your other divine counterpart. A soulmate is the friends that have been created together with you in your same group of souls, because God creates you and your friends. You were not created alone. And then you have karmic, which are all the other souls that are out of your group of friends, basically. They're like all the other souls that are very different from you because, of course, God wants to explore and want to create different kind of souls. And therefore, the farther you are from your group, the more difference there will be. And that's why it's perceived as karmic. So in the end, soulmate and karmic, the only difference between them is how close they are to your own soul. So a soulmate is close within your close group sense, and karmic are simply souls that are in other groups that are not really close to you, right? But for some reasons you meet them. And now we go to the purpose. So between karmic and soulmate, there isn't really a big difference. It's the same. It's just another soul with whom you interact according to your life path. But there is a big difference here. So what I've noticed, I've had relationships with both of them, long and short-term relationships. And what I've noticed, and also in me and also in others, is that the purpose of a karmic relationship is specific to teach a specific lesson in which you have to grow. It teaches you some challenges and lessons you need to grow into. A soulmate, on the other side, it's based on friendship. It's a friendship bond. And therefore, the reason why we choose relationships with soulmate is because they are there to help you. Normally, they come in very challenging times, and having that relationship will basically make sure that you go on the other side. For example, I had a 3-year relationship with a soulmate when I was in high school. And honestly, I want to say it's thanks to that person that I'm here today, because in that period, I suffered from heavy depression, and it was a really hard period of my life, and because of that relationship, I could keep my head above water, and I basically could survive, and that's why I'm here. So that relationship was very important for me to have a stability and support in a very challenging period of my life. On the other side, the other karmic that I had were meant to give me a boost of growth in areas in which I needed to grow. So this is what I see as a difference. So a soulmate is to support you through a specific phase of your life in which it would be difficult without that person. A karmic is to give you a boost of growth. So they have a very different purpose in your life. Now, a twin flame. And so what is the purpose of the twin flame? As you could see, a twin flame is the only person that matches perfectly your core values and your gifts, because it's you. So think about all those relationships in which you had to sacrifice something about yourself because you had different core values or different gifts, and you were not really a match, right? Like there was always something off. On the other side, a twin flame will always mirror every single thing that is important for you because you share the same core values and the same gifts. It's basically you. So what's the purpose of a twin flame? If you see the diagram, if you remember, the reason why any other relationship ever worked, it's because they were not with yourself. You cannot possibly have the relationship that you will desire, the most fulfilling and most beautiful and loving relationship, unless it's with yourself. And that's the truth. Because if you have to compromise even something about yourself, even something about what's important for you, you are abandoning yourself. You are denying your true self. So with your twin flame, you will never have to compromise anything because they share exactly the same gifts and the same core values. And therefore, you will never have to pretend to be somebody else. You will never have to compromise aspects of yourself, lie about who you are, because they're you. So this is the core reason why no relationship can ever work unless it's with your twin flame. And what happens is that the other two relationships, they're based on conditional love. Because basically, in order to be together, you have to deny some aspects of yourself. Because, for example, let's say that for you, something is very important, but for the other person, it's not. The other person doesn't see what's important for you. Therefore, they will bring you to deny that aspect of yourself that is so important for you so that you can be together. If you choose to do that, you are denying aspects of yourself. So basically, you are rejecting yourself. You're not loving yourself. So that is a conditional love because it's based on the aspects that you meet on, which are a certain set of the whole of who you are. Basically, the only way you can ever be unconditional love of who you truly are at the core, in any way who you are, is to be with your twin flame. Because otherwise you will always have to give up some aspect of yourself. And this is what I found in every other relationship that I had. I always had to lie about some aspects about myself. I always had to deny them, to suppress them, to ignore them, to compromise them. And it has been one of the biggest painful things to heal through, until I got to the point in which I literally said, I will never ever be with somebody that is not my twin flame, because I will never want to deny myself, because that's not loving yourself. Your twin flame is literally the partner that has been literally designed by God specifically for you. Because every soul is unique, every soul is composed by the masculine and the feminine attributes, which are the same. And they are created together perfectly to be eternal companions through your whole soul journey, your whole ascension. Because the soul not only has a specific set toolkit of gifts and core values, but also a specific growth that it wants to experience, a specific journey. And that journey will be specific and unique to every soul. And so, the only person that will always matches you in your growth and in your development will only be your twin flame. Because all the other souls, they have different journeys, different purposes, different things that they want to explore, different stories they want to move through and stuff. So maybe you will meet for a certain time and then you will go on different routes. But your twin flame will always stay on the same route as you are, simply because you are the same soul. And the soul is just moving through its own challenges and journeys and stuff, and growing as a soul. So it can never be separate, it can never be divided. So it will be the only person that will always grow together with you, so that you will never ever have to compromise your growth, and you will never have to be afraid of leaving them behind, because they will always grow with you, because it's the same consciousness developing and evolving at the same time together. Also, as experience, there's a reason why there are a lot of friends and relationships that as soon as you grow and you expand, they stay behind, because they have a different journey than yours. This is what happens with every relationship that I had and every friendship that I had. This is not just about relationships, it's also about friendships, because friendships can be karmic or soulmates. It's exactly the same thing. So when you choose to grow, if they don't have the same path of yours, and nobody has, because you're the only one that has your own path, they will fade away. And if you, to keep them, decide to stay on their track, you are sacrificing your growth. So you're still denying something about yourself. But if you're with a twin flame, this will never happen, because it's the same soul that grows together and that develops the consciousness together at the same time. Like, you will always grow together. There is no possibility to ever grow apart. Which is why it has been designed for your ascension, because you are literally living your eternal life together as one soul with a divine counterpart, which has been designed literally by God to be your own everything. Your spiritual teacher, your best friend, your partner, your divine counterpart, your husband or wife, like everything in one person. I believe that's the biggest gift that God could give us. And yes, each one of us has a twin flame, because all of us were created in the same way. Even Hitler has a twin flame. Every soul is created in the same way, with a feminine and a masculine counterpart, which are twin flames between each other, and they are eternal companions to live your soul journey, to be your eternal companion forever and ever, and just be together in every experience you could have possibly have. And this is the purpose of these three soul categories. If you want to know more about twin flames, I will link in the description a book that is being written by a couple of twin flames in harmonious union since over 10 years. And in the end, the truth about twin flames, it can only be understood by those that are living that in their relationship, not by random people that don't even know what it is. It's not a theoretical concept. It's real. It's a real thing. And you can only understand it by those that are living it every day and that understand the relationship by living it. So you can deep dive the topic in that book. And if you want to learn more about twin flames and receive support on your twin flame journey, you can subscribe to the channel, because that's what I help you with. Thank you for watching.